Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today I'm going to show you how to rebuild the master cylinder on our 2003 Honda Rancher 350. As you can see, it needs a little bit of help. So let me go grab a couple of tools and I'll show you how to get it done. Alright, this is going to be a skill level 2, but just barely, so don't let it scare you off. As far as the tools that we're going to need an 8 and a 10 millimeter socket, a 12, 10, and an 8 millimeter just wrench, a decent Phillips, a pair of needle nose pliers, pick tool, salt blow hammer, but most important, these little guys right here, those are to remove the circlip that's down inside of the master cylinder. When you're looking at the parts diagram, notice that there is a kit that has all of this in one little plastic bag, and that's what you're going to need to get this done. So, once you have your tools, your parts, and you've reviewed the drawings, we can get started. So, let's go. Let's start off by just going ahead and get the bolt out for the actual lever itself. What I'm going to do is go ahead and take it off, pull off that cover, then we're going to take off that banjo bolt and go ahead and drain the reservoir. All right, if you haven't taken off this cover before, chances are you're going to need one of these. It's an impact with a Phillips on the end of it, but I have had it off recently, so just a regular Phillips should get it done. All right, now, just want to get a container over here. I'm going to go ahead and break this loose. Get out any fluid that wants to drain out. All right, guys, well, we just pulled that off, and I was expecting the reservoir to dump it out a little bit, but evidently it's not, because it actually has air in the system, and we couldn't get it to bleed out. So that tells me it's probably pulling actually past the seal. So let's go ahead and get her taken off the handlebar, dump it out, and then we'll pull it apart. If you care about your decals or your plastics, try to keep them covered up the best you can, because brake fluid doesn't play well with decals. All right, she's loose, but it's more or less just stuck on there now. Just a light tap to break things loose. All right, dump that out. Now let's head over to the teardown bench and pull it apart. All right, we're getting ready to open it up, and when you buy the rebuild kit from Honda, it actually comes with another seal on the outside, basically just a dust cap, a new circlip, and then here's your actual assembly. What you've got there is the piston itself, both seals, and then the spring. Let's go ahead and get off that dust seal. You don't have to be too careful with it, because we're not going to reuse it. Next, get a set of long nose circlip pliers. Get that circlip out, and the rest of the assembly will come through. Alright, yeah, it was looking pretty nasty in there. Initially looking at the two seals, you can look at the difference, how these are kind of mushroomed out on the end, and these are basically just flattened all the way out. So more than likely, it was pulling air past that one right there. Alright, what we do want to do though is go ahead and spray this out with some brake cleaner. Take a look at the bore. Make sure there's no pitting. Alright, if you're going to use a brush on this, make sure it's just nylon tipped, because we don't want to scar up anything in there. Digging a little bit further, bottom of this, that's some pretty nasty looking stuff that needs to come out. A little bit more cleaning. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's put it back in our vise and see if we can get that new equipment in there. All right, when you're putting this back together, coat it down with just a little bit of DOT4 brake fluid, especially on these two rubber seals that go on the piston. And you also want to get some down into the bore itself. All right, that should do it. Now let's see if we can get her to wiggle in there. All right, when you're putting this in, you need to make sure that you guide that lower seal in so it doesn't try to bend around the wrong direction. All right, let's go ahead and get our snap ring set up. Now we're going to push down a little bit and get our snap ring in. And you know if you did it right, if you can just push it and it comes right back with your finger. So that should be good to go. Now, get this little dirt seal on as well. It has a groove that it rides in at the bottom, and then at the top there's a channel that it needs to be guided down on the piston itself. There. Now it's dead even with it. All right, so that wasn't so bad. Let's take it out of the vise and get it back on the machine. The reassembly is pretty much the exact reverse of what we did to take it off. All right, rotate that up. That little line that's coming down off of the throttle, you want that pretty much to point into where those two joints mate. All right there. And according to Honda, they want you to tighten the top one first to where it's completely flush, and then finish it off on the bottom one. That's it. Now, let's go ahead and get our banjo bolt back in. Remember, it's got a washer on either side of it. Let's put a little bit of grease on that pivot bolt that goes on the clutch lever. We can go ahead and pop it back on. Just do that just barely to where it's seated. Then put on that bolt on the bottom, and that's pretty much the one that holds it on. Because if you ever tighten this, then it'll probably end up breaking the housing, or either it'll pinch down on it to where it won't rotate correctly. So hold that top one, then tighten it. All right guys, at this point all we need to do is just fill it back up and actually go through the bleeding procedure. Now if you would, reference one of our videos and I can show you how to get that done. So that pretty much finishes this one up. Listen, if you need any of the parts that we use to do this, why don't you find us over at partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, we just want to say thanks for watching.